as we wind down 2019, we're taking stock of some of the big unicorn debuts this year. Some companies struggled post-IPO. Smile Direct Club is down 65% from its listing, but some others have thrived, and biotech's been one bright spot. And one of the brighter of the bright spots is Turning Point Therapeutics, up almost 200% from its listing price. And when you figure out math, 200% means it's tripled. Doesn't mean it's just doubled. I figured that out. Join us now to discuss that journey and the path ahead, Dr. Athena Countouriotis. She is CEO of Turning Point Therapeutics. $18, I think, raised 160-some million with a market cap valuation of about $500 million, now almost $2 billion. So that's been a very successful debut year for you, Doctor.
Well, good morning, Joe, Andrew, and Becky. Thank you very much for having us. It's such a macro morning, so it's our pleasure to be here.
Yes. So it better than... I'm just wondering, when the IPO priced, since then, have there been clinical validations of some of the drugs, or has it just been market sentiment that's tripled the stock price?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you acknowledge the fact that there are many IPOs that were done this year across all sectors, including biotech, that unfortunately have not succeeded in many ways. You know, we were very mindful. It's something you talk about all the time in terms of that last round of private financing. We brought, a valuation, I think, to shareholders that was a good deal. We were very much focused on aftermarket performance. And unlike a lot of other companies, we did make steady progress. We initially started with one clinical asset. We've now progressed to 3 clinical assets. And we talked about this last time, but this is all based on our scientific platform of tyrosine kinase inhibitors for cancer.
So, yeah, it's precision oncology. Now, what does that mean? You're looking in the precision, the adjective there. What does that refer to? The mechanism of action of the kinase inhibitors that you're developing, or you're focusing on very specific cancers that they may be somewhat rare, or does it apply to a much larger patient population than just some rare cancers?
Yeah, our platform is predominantly focused on one of the largest cancers, which is non-small cell lung cancer. Now, it is a subpopulation. When you think about precision medicine, it's specifically targeting subpopulations of lung cancer, but also colon cancer and other cancers. And so it's precisely targeting the kinases with oral drugs that are very well tolerated. And it's a field, tyrosine kinase inhibitors have been around for many years, going back to 2001.
So when you're looking at someone with this type of cancers, did you say non-small cell? Non-small cell.
That's correct.
Do we know the genetic profile of the people that respond to your compounds?
We do, and one of the ways that our story differentiated, and I think, again, that's a testament to the success of the IPO, is a differentiated story tackling treatment resistance. And essentially what that means is a patient's been treated. Unfortunately, that initial therapy has now failed them, and they're looking for another option. And so our oral drugs would tackle a specific genetic change that is now tested through genetic profiling of tumors, which is becoming more and more standard practice.
Interesting. So the tumor mutates around the initial treatment, and then you use something that would have worked at the beginning, or you use after, or the kinase inhibitor works after the mutation? Would it have worked alongside the initial drug? Maybe it should have gone alongside it instead of after it mutated around it.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. One of the things with our lead asset, and again, our IPO had clinical data. So many IPOs that are coming out have very strong science, maybe potentially a successful management team, but they don't have clinical validation of their science. We had that with our lead asset, and our lead asset, we believe, is a best-in-class asset. So that means that it could be used first. To your point, it should not necessarily just be held for a patient that's already, unfortunately, has a therapy that's failing them.
Well, I know you've got some comments and opinions on how we should cap some drug prices, or whether we should cap them at all, and which drug plan, whether it's Pelosi's or what the Kevin Brady, some others are looking at. We don't want to hurt innovation, and we need to tread lightly, because there's a big potential in a lot of these companies and the drugs they're developing.
Yeah, first off, I was happy to see that the new FDA commissioner is an oncologist. We're very much focused in cancer drug development. We do not have commercial drugs yet, but clearly it's a space that we're monitoring. I think to the point you made, there are those that will definitely say it would stifle innovation if the current bill continues to go through, obviously pass through the House. My perspective is much bigger than that. I read an article last week that unfortunately in just under 10 million Americans, if you were diagnosed with cancer and over the age of 50, the likelihood of you dissolving your life savings within 2 years of your diagnosis was over 40%. That is a terrible statistic. So to me, much bigger than just the drug pricing aspect.